Hey there, let's talk about it. 46 years ago, on this day, the youth of South Africa took to the streets to fight against a system that did not recognize them and their educational needs. A system that oppressed their young minds and was forcing them to accept education in the language of their oppressor, Afrikaans. This we now know as the Soweto Uprising. Today, the youth of South Africa are facing a different kind of oppressor and more of the same struggles the youth 46 years ago faced. The youth of 1976 have become the very oppressor at the core of this youth's problems. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Besides the introduction of Afrikaans as the medium of instruction, their education was subpar compared to the education white South African students were receiving. This education system was known as the Bantu education, and it only trained racialized black South Africans for professions such as teaching and nursing, where they do not need to be trained to think critically. The education system was designed to keep them obedient. The apartheid system was in full effect. The youth could not dream to vote a government into power, participate in the political economy of the country, or dream to access spaces beyond those the apartheid regime permitted for them to access. They had no prospect of having careers. They were forced to accept any job that would give them income to contribute at home, and these included gardening and being a maid if you came from a poor background, and teaching and nursing if you came from a home where parents have some form of income and there are no pressures forcing you out of school. The youth of 2022. Education is segregated. For those who have money and come from middle-class backgrounds, they can access decent schools and be exposed to quality education that inspires and prepares them for careers in sectors where skills are needed, like engineering, architecture, and IT. Those who cannot afford these schools are in government schools where subject choices are often limited to maths, physics, history, geography, tourism, life sciences, and history. Now, there is nothing wrong with these subjects, besides the fact that students don't gain any skills that they can use. The youth of 2022 have access to all further and higher education institutions in South Africa, but with the latter school education, they get limited access to courses they can enroll for in university, which means that the majority of university enrollments are in humanities, where skills demand isn't high and job prospects are few, the result being high graduate unemployment rates. The youth of 2022 face one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. Those who leave high school and cannot pursue further education don't have skills they can use to employ or enrich themselves. They resort to crime and drugs. Those who have degrees and certificates are sitting at home depressed from fruitless job hunting, and many are resorting to unskilled labor, which in itself is not a problem, but contributes to the decay of the country when there's more unskilled laborers than there are skilled laborers. Apartheid may have been dismantled as a system, but it still exists institutionally and culturally in our white South African communities. Young people have to fight racism every day of their lives, as other white students feel it is right to piece on black students' books, where schools discriminate against black students here, and where both white students and teachers feel it is okay to call black students kafir and snoobabs, which is a reverse pronunciation of the word baboons. Now see, we have a reason to celebrate the youth of 1976, but we cannot help but feel disappointed in them because they are now in power. They are our presidents and politicians, and they are failing the youth of this day and are robbing them of the potential they have to make this country great and contribute to building a stronger African country. I can't help but be nervous about the leaders this country will have in 46 years from now, because only the minority of this youth have access to resources that would make them leaders in future. And those that do have access are far removed from the realities of this country, and that begs the question, what kind of leaders will they be? What public interest will they have if they are far removed from the realities on the ground? We celebrate the bravery of the youth of 1976, and we wonder how soon before we see another uprising from the youth of this day, because the more things change, the more they stay the same.